It's a high holy day around these parts. It's Jack Benedict's 82nd birthday today, Greg. How about that?
Oh, my gosh. He doesn't look he looks 50.
There you go.
How's he do it?
He's doing he's just amazing.
The medical marvels are Blass and Benedict.
Yeah,
They're my heroes.
That one. Let's go with that one. Jack always makes a big deal of the fact that he was born on Preacher Rowe's birthday.
Oh, my gosh. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That is great.
An old Bucko and an old Dodger. So Jack's,
that's right. Well, we're on Pirates.com today, so we'll have to give Jack a shout out on the internet.
Oh, nice. That'll be really, really nice. He'll enjoy that. Hey, Greg, I want to talk pitching today. That's okay by you.
Sure.
Because, you get to spring training, and one of the things that you enjoy most about spring training is hearing about these young bucks that are going up against established major leaguers and what they look like. That's where we got Jared Jones last year, was from, the spring training that he had. And yesterday he was on the mound again, and everybody's talking about this new pitch for Jared Jones. And I thought it was interesting. He wasn't all that impressed with it, but boy, Derek Shelton was.
Yeah, it just shows you that in baseball, you've got to continually evolve. You can't rest on your laurels. And even though he was a rookie last year and he burst onto the scene, his first couple of months were otherworldly, and then he got hurt, the lat strain, and that he slipped in the second half. But he's aware, and the Pirates are aware, that he can't just live on a fastball and a slider. So he developed over the offseason, not that he's never used it before, but a two-seam sinking fastball that, when delivered properly in the big leagues, you get a lot of ground balls. Balls are put in play. That allows you to throw fewer pitches. Strikeouts are nice, but strikeouts come at a cost because the pitch count increases. Likewise, a slider can be a strikeout pitch, but a two-seam fastball is not for a swing and a miss. It's for the ball to be put in play on the ground. And he delivered at one point. He broke somebody's bat because of it, because it jams the hitter and it goes in on the bat handle, and it can break a lot of bats when it's a good one. And Jones said, it's kind of neat because he doesn't break a lot of bats. He usually gets a lot of swings and misses in the strikeout pitch. Mm-hmm. Now, I have heard other people who are much more knowledgeable about the game than I say that at some point he's probably going to even have to develop a pitch that slows down the bat, because when you're constantly throwing hard, fast pitches, and a two-seam fastball is still that, it's a fastball, eventually these big league hitters even adjust to that. So though the slider is a slower pitch velocity-wise, it's still up there. And what you need is a changeup or a curveball or something that is kind of off the speed to disrupt the timing. So I think Jones, as he continues to pitch the big leagues, will even start to think that. He throws a curveball on occasion, but not much. Mm-hmm. But it's just good to see these young kids that are all the talent in the world continue to develop. And, it's an old cliche, but the sky's the limit for even a guy like Jones. Skeens and Jones at the top of your rotation, and then Keller. And then to think, Todd, about guys that are going to start the year in the minor leagues: Bubba Chandler, Braxton Ashcraft, Mike Burrows, Thomas Harrington. It's really exciting to think about where this club's going to go. It's not going to be a one-stop shop, one-year deal. They should be good for a number of years with that rotation.
Well, you mentioned Harrington, and I was reading the article about that slider that he threw. There's some sort of metric that measures the effectiveness of a slider, and he threw one. It's never been measured. The number was 164. It's never been measured that nasty before. I guess that's the word to apply to.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it's a good way to put it. Now, those measurements, relatively speaking, are fairly recent, but still, when you think about that he's got so much movement on it, and it's so deceiving, so deceptive. And on top of that, Harrington, being a young kid, so mature when it comes to, and way different style, by the way, than a Skeens or a Jones, in that he's more of a pinpoint control, accurate, up and down the strike zone, outside, inside, those corners, those edges, and to be able to throw those pitches, and as you mentioned, something that has not been really seen before with that kind of depth on that type of a pitch. Again, you almost want to slow things down here because you're still talking about a Pirates team that has really struggled, wins and losses, so people might roll their eyes when they hear, and I get it. You hear about, the talent that they have but I don't recall, maybe you go back to the Garrett Cole, Jameson Tyone days and Glass now, that's what they had hoped for. But even then, it was pretty limited, as I recall, to those three. They had to go outside to get other pitchers. They've got guys in their system that they're developing, including Harrington and the others that I mentioned. That there is real reason for hope, because those guys just don't come around every year, and you don't develop those guys every year and draft them. But and you can knock the Pirates for not being able to bring up a lot of offense over the years, draft and develop hitters. But you better, at the same time, you better give them credit for the pitchers that they've been developing.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I recall watching Harrington last year at Altoona a couple of times and thinking Doug Drabeck.
That's a good comparison. I like that one.
Yeah,
I like that even better than, who did I hear? Oscar Marine mentioned, and this is no disrespect to Ryan Vogelsong. Ryan Vogelsong was a really good major league pitcher, but I like the Drabeck comp even more. Now, I don't know that what Drabeck would measure in terms of velocity with the new measurements this year. He was a hard thrower, and I don't know if even Harrington throws as hard as Drabeck would have. But in terms of knowing how to pitch and control, I like that comp.
Yeah, when you look at these young guys coming up, that's what I do is I compare them to former Buccos that I've seen. And the easiest way to make a comparison is when you're talking about pitchers. So when you look at these young guys, you see glimpses of somebody who used to pitch for the Buccos. And to me, that's a fascinating exercise. The natural thing with Paul Skeens is to say Garrett Cole, only we say, well, he's a Pirate now, so Garrett Cole, only better. That's what you do with all of these guys is you try to compare them to guys that you've seen before. So when you look at a guy like, there's Bubba Chandler coming up. Does he remind you of somebody who at one time pitched for the Pirates?
Oh man, Bubba Chandler. I'm trying to go through my Rolodex of pitchers that, he's I won't call him a max effort guy. Jones is a max effort, full throttle guy. He's a smaller statured guy. Chandler, not a ton bigger, but kind of similar in that hard throwing over the top. Nobody comes to mind at the moment, but I'm going to start to think about that. And I can't get Drabeck out of my mind because you're right. That's what we do with these guys. That's what baseball does. And I guess you do it with the other sports, but maybe baseball more than others and scouts do it all the time. And you ask for the guy that hated it when I would ask him, do you have a comp, was Clint Hurdle. He did not like that at all. He didn't like to compare because I think when he was coming up to the big leagues and he was the flavor of the month, he was, on the cover of Sports Illustrated and a former top pick and was the royal star of the future. Was going to be the next superstar in baseball. He was being compared to others, and it's probably unfair, but that's what we do as fans. We compare guys because, again, we go back. That's the joy of sports. We watch guys over the years, and it's also the fun thing about being a guy that's been around a long time. You've seen so many pitchers over the years, and so we compare. Who could he be? Your point about Garrett Cole, and that's the first thing that comes to mind because Cole was one of the best pitchers in recent Pirate memory. Hard thrower. The one thing, of course, about Skeens, I know you'll agree with this, Todd, is that Skeens bigger and even more developed and even a harder thrower. I don't know that. Heck, they're always saying that in all of Major League Baseball, in our lifetimes, they can't think of a guy that was that size, threw this hard, and was this developed at a 22-year-old. The first comp to Skeens that I've heard has been Dwight Gooden, but Gooden wasn't as big as Skeens. So Skeens really is, that's becoming cliche. He's a unicorn, or just he's so unique that you've not seen this before. That's kind of the way it's been with Skeens.
He's a prototype, is what he is. I
Yes.
just love the way he thinks the game. Hey, Greg, I want to get into the playoffs or into the bullpen, because I won't have you for all that much longer here. And yesterday, boy, the alarm bells went off with Holderman and Bednar getting in there. It was their first outing of the spring. We shouldn't read all that much into it, but certainly those are two guys who are going to be a key to rebuilding this Pirate bullpen, because, my goodness, how many leads were blown by the Buccos last year.
Yeah, I think, Todd, for me, people talk about the offense. The offense wasn't great, that's for sure. Starting pitching at times was shaky the second half, including Keller, and we mentioned Jared Jones. He missed, I think, almost 2 months with that lat strain. No doubt about it. You need the starters to go 6 or 7 innings, and I think they will for the most part this year. But the bullpen always begins with the closer. And when Bednar got off to that sluggish start early, wasn't 100%, I think it was a huge mistake, and I think he would probably even admit it now. He wanted to begin the year on the opening day roster. The Pirates relented and did. I think they'd have been better served, because he came in late because of an off-season injury, and it took him a while to get built up. The good thing about, and it didn't look great in terms of, 2 hits, a run. Now, they weren't crushed, those hits, by the way. Didn't walk anybody. 13 pitches, 11 of them for strikes. I like that about Bednar. I think his command is back. Holderman, 23 pitches, only 14 for strikes. He's got to be better than that. Yeah. They have options. I love Tanner Rainey, by the way. I think that's a, under the radar sign, a guy that I really liked when he was with the Nationals. He doesn't throw as hard, but he still gets guys out with that slider and mid-90s fastball still. I think the bullpen as a whole is going to be under the rated, because I think Bednar is going to be back. And even if Holderman is not the setup man, you still have the Joey Wentz, who they picked up in the offseason last year from the Yankees. Tim Meza, a veteran lefty. Caleb Ferguson, who pitched a couple of innings the other day, a left-hander. Shelton's going to have options. Those are 3, at least, left-handed options he's going to have. When you add Carmen Majinski to the mix, Kyle Nicholas, who, you look at the numbers. Look at Dennis Santana, what he did last year. Those are, for me, that's the makeup of the bullpen. As we talk today, that's what it looks like for me at the start of the season. But all kinds of stuff will happen between now and opening day. And then to say nothing of Johan Oviedo. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I said it Friday. I'll say it again today. For my money, I'd love to see them be very creative with Oviedo. He's a starting pitcher. I understand that. He's coming off Tommy John surgery. So if they decide he's still going to be a starter, he'll begin the year in the minor leagues and get built up. But the other option for me is make him a bullpen setup man. Bring him in for 1 inning, the 8th inning, and set him up to Bednar. I think it would be unbelievable to have Oviedo coming out of the bullpen.
I like it. I like it all. The search for the next Enrique Romo goes on, and
that's right. Ricardo Rincon.
We need them all. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you, Tom. Talk to you Friday.
All righty. It is Indiana in the Morning, and it's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com.